is the variable of type int with a value 101. Okay. So now there are the two pointers are created. One is a void pointer asterisk g, and another one float pointer p. Okay. Now if you are trying to store this v variable address in these two variables, if you are trying to store in the asterisk ampersand v in the g variable, okay, then there is no warning messages or any error messages. It can store the address. But if you are trying to store this void variable into the float variable, float pointer, then you will get the warning message. Okay, that is, it cannot store the other data type address. Even if you are storing the or integer variable address, then also you will get the warning message. Okay, that is, we cannot store the another type of variable address into the float pointer. Okay. So it shows the message like typecast the address into the float. Gives a help message like typecast the address of v variable into the float. Okay. So but for the void pointer, it doesn't show any warning message. Okay, it stores the address of any variable in the void pointer. Okay. Say if you get any question in the general pointer or void pointer, okay, then just write it as void pointer is also as a normal pointer. It also occupies the 2 bytes of memory space, and it can store any variable address into the the void pointer, and it doesn't require any casting of a data type. So these all points you can write about the void pointers. Okay, next we will see the pointer arithmetic. A pointer arithmetic is nothing but whatever the arithmetic operations we can do generally with the normal variables, the same we can do with the pointer variables also. But there is a only difference is whenever you are doing with the normal variables, okay, based on the value, okay, it can increase or decrease, or it can multiply, or it can divide. But here in the pointer arithmetics, based on the data type of the pointer, can increase or decrease or multiply or divide. Okay. So this pointer arithmetic also has a special meaning. Like whenever you want to move the pointer one variable to another variable, that is from one memory location to another memory location, then we can go for the pointer arithmetic. Okay, just like this one. Say for example, assume that this is the memory block. This is a block of locations. Okay, there's some locations are there. Assume that these are the integer locations or something. Okay, each block is a one integer location. That is integer is nothing but 2 bytes. Okay, so it is having a 100, 102. This is 104, and this is 106, 108, 110, 112, and 114 and 160. Okay, these are the locations. Okay, now I have a p pointer variable. Initially, it is pointing to the 100 location. Okay, this is the integer pointer. And it is also pointing to the location is the integer address. Okay, this is also a integer address. Assume that it is an integer address. Okay, now whenever I want to move this pointer to the next integer variable, whenever I want to move this pointer variable to the next integer, that is 102. Okay, for that I require to add the two locations. Okay, I require to add the two locations to the memory address of the p pointer. Okay, whatever the location which is stored in the p pointer, for that I need to add the two locations so that it can move to the 102. Okay, but whenever you are doing like p equals to p plus 1, okay, this 1 is treated as the you want to move from the current pointer location to the next integer variable. That is, you move one integer variable location. Okay, that is p is, say for example, 100 plus one integer variable location is to be added for the p. One integer variable size is added to the p. So one integer variable size is 1 into size of int. Size of int is 2. 1 into 2, 2. 100 plus 2. So it moves to the 102. Okay. Say for example, if the pointer is the float pointer, if the pointer is a float pointer, float asterisk p. Now if you are saying that p equals to p plus 1, then this addition is like 100 plus 1 into 4. Okay, because 4 is the size of a one float variable. So 1 into 4, it moves to the 104 location. So based on the data type of the pointer variable, it performs the arithmetic operations. That is addition, multiplication, or division, or subtraction. Each and everything is treated as you are moving from current location to the number of locations of that same data type. Okay. So that only we cannot store the one type of address into another type of pointer. Okay, why? Because if you are storing the integer variable address into the pointer, the float pointer tries to increase the value by 4. But whatever the address you have stored is the integer variable. So it can move to
Voice break
locations of
out.
the row. You are trying to move for 4 locations. So that address conflicts we get the pointer.
Voice break out.
Cannot move the one pointer address into the, sorry, one type of variable address into the another type of pointer. So this is just like you are moving the pointer from one place to another place. So the addition is like this. New address equals to current address e plus I is the number
Voice
of
break out,
locations, the
man.
number of variables you want to move. That is the I into size of the that particular data type. Okay. If you are giving it as a 2, 2 into size of data type. If it is a int, size of int. 2 into 2, 4. Decrement is subtraction. Current address minus I into size of data type. It decrements the address. Multiplication and division also same. You can multiply with the number of locations so that you can move to that particular location. And division is also divide the address so that you can move to that particular address location. So whatever the result of that arithmetic operation, okay, that result is the address location. Okay, that particular place or point. Next is 1D arrays and pointers. Okay, that is one-dimensional arrays and pointers. So you can create a one-dimensional, that is one point. The single pointer can be treated as a one-dimensional array. That is, say for example, P is a pointer which is pointing to a particular location. So whenever you want to treat this as an array, you need to store the multiple values in a continuous memory locations. So in the first pointer, it can store the one value here. Whenever you want to store the another value, you can just move to the next location by p plus 1, right? P plus 1 as well. So p plus 1 is move to the next location of the current address. So it can move to the next location, and here you can store the other value, say 20. Next, if you want to store the one more value, you can move it as p plus 2. So it can move to the next location, and you can store the another value. So like this, we can increment it, okay, for number of times, and we can store the multiple values in the continuous functions. And this is similar to our normal array notation. Asterisk p can be called as p of 0, and p plus 1 can be called as p of 1. P plus 2 can be called as p of 2. So either you can write in the array notation or we can write in the point notation. But in the both of these, if you want to use the 1D arrays and pointers as the pointer, you need to declare the variable as the pointer. But while accessing the variable, either you can use in the array or you can use in the pointer. While accessing, you can use it as an array as a pointer. But while declaring, you need to declare it as a pointer. Okay. So the benefit of this is, okay, it doesn't have any fixed size and it allocates the memory space at the time of executing the program, and there is no wastage of memory space. You can store the n number of values in this array. So these are the basic three advantages using the pointer as an array. 1D array. One pointer is 1D array. If it is a 2 pointers, we can use it as 2D array. The same one-dimensional array you can pass to the function, and there you can store it into the pointer. So from the main program, you will be pass the 1D array, but in the function, you can use the pointer variable to store the address of that one-dimensional array, and you can retrieve it and you can do the modifications in that array. Whenever you want to use the array pointers as the multi-dimensional arrays, we can use the more than one pointers. If you want to use it as a two-dimensional array, we can use the 2 pointers. To ask symbols, if it is a three-dimensional array, you can use the 3 pointers. And dynamic memory allocation. Here, this is dynamic memory allocation is whenever you want to store the memory address. That is, whenever you want to reserve the memory address, memory allocations for the pointer variable, then we can go for the dynamic memory allocation. Okay, generally, for all the variables, the memory is allocated at the time of compiling the program. That is, before the execution, it allocates the memory space. But only for the pointers, the memory is allocated at the time of executing the program. And there is a problem arised is, say for example, if the memory is not available, the sufficient memory is not available at the time of executing the program, then our pointers may not get the required memory space. Okay, to reduce that problem, okay, we can go for dynamic memory allocation. Okay, this is whenever the program is started, then you can reserve some memory space for pointer variables, so that we may not get the problem like not having a sufficient memory. And this is also we can allocate based on our requirement. Okay, say for example, I have a variable is a pointer variable like a int asterisk key. I want to use it as an array. Okay, then I can create a n variable, and I can take the value for the n variables. If for example, either you can take it as a scanf ద్వారా అయినా తీసుకోవచ్చు, assigning like this, n equals to 5. Now here you can do the memory allocation. Okay, it's not required to be allocated at the time of declaration. So once n value తీసుకున్న తర్వాత మనం then we can allocate the memory based on the n value given, so that there is no wastage of memory space by reserving the memory space in the pointers and memory allocation. Okay, but there is only advantages without getting any problem like not sufficient memory that we can do with the help of dynamic memory allocation. Okay, for this we have a 4 functions: CLLoc, MLOc, ELLoc, and free. CLLoc is which is used to allocate the memory space for a block of values. Okay, this function is used to allocate the memory space for an array of that is at a time we can take a one uh, that is individual bytes. Okay, individual bytes గా తీసుకుని ఆ bytes మొత్తాన్ని కలిపి మనం మెమరీగా allocate చేయొచ్చు. Okay, individual bytes గా తీసుకుంటుంది. Okay, just we can call it as character allocation. Okay, individual bytes గా కన్సిడర్ చేసుకుంటుంది locations ని, and it will make the combination of those all bytes and it allocates to the variable. And MLOc is it takes a one complete block of our memory at a one particular place, and that is allocated to our variable. Say if you require for 5 values, okay, 5 into 10 bytes is taken from the one particular place, and that is allocated to our variable. But in the CLLoc, it takes the 2 bytes from the different places, and that is allocated to our variable. RealLoc is we can extend this allocation of a memory space. That is, initially you are allocated to the MLOc. The meanwhile of the program, I want to increase that memory space. Yeah, allocate అయిన space increase చేసుకోవాలి. then you can do with real. Key is to remove that allocated memory space. It doesn't remove the space. It just removes the link between that memory and our pointer variable. It just removes that link between that memory locations and our pointer variable. So our pointer is not pointing to that particular locations. So these are the 4 functions which are required for the dynamic memory allocation. Prototype of the CL void asterisk CL size of the variable and the individual size. Example for this. CL log of n, that is the number of variables you require the size. And what is the size of each variable? That is what is the size of one variable? They require for 5 variables. The one variable size is 4 bytes. Okay. So I take the 4 bytes from the different places of 5. 4 bytes 5 places నుంచి తీసుకొని దాన్ని అడ్రస్ రిఫరెన్స్ ని మన వేరియబుల్ కి అసైన్ చేస్తాం. Okay, this is for CL. Next for free is to remove the link between the pointer. Just we can call it as free and pointer variable. You will be allocate the memory space. That link will be released using the free. And malloc function, the syntax is like this: void asterisk malloc size. We can specify the complete block size. Okay, if you require for the 10, if you require the 10 bytes, you can give the 10. If you require the 20, you can give the 20. Okay, the total size of the block required, you can give it in the one variable as a one variable. And the real lock is you can specify that the memory space to be extended, the pointer variable, and the size to be extended. So a variable ki extend cheyali memory space and the size extend cheyali. Okay, these two you can mention for the real lock. A real lock is like this. CL lock, you are in allocated space for 5 values, and in the real lock you are specifying that nums is your variable, and you want to allocate the that is extend the size for the 10 variables. 10 into size of float. Okay, 10 into 40 bytes is that is including that 5 blocks. Okay, already on a 5 plus if 10 could add అవుతాయి. To the arrays, like you can create the 2 pointers and you can allocate the memory space for each and every row. Each row can allocate memory space, we can create the 2 arrays. Okay, this is about the pointers. Okay. Is there any doubts in this pointers concept? Pointers concept లో ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా? ఓకే, సో ట్యుటోరియల్ క్వశ్చన్స్ వరకు ఆన్సర్స్ దొరికాయా అన్నిటికీ?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and in the files concept you have a important questions is one is related to the file modes, the different types of file modes. That is a one important question. And another question is related to the files functions. Okay, the different types of files functions. These are the two important theory questions that you have in the files. Remaining all are related to the programs. That is how to copy a file and how to read and write the file, how to display the content of a file, Okay, like that. Okay, you'll have the simple programs, how to create and how to store the data into the file, or how to read the data from the file, or how to copy a data from the one file to another file. Okay, generally you may get these type of simple theory program questions. Three questions is file moves and file functions. We go to the topic of files. Okay. So files is you just assume that file is nothing but whatever the files you are seeing at present. Okay, whenever you want to work with the files, okay, say for example, if you want to write a one C program, okay, just go to the code box or any other window and you'll be open a one new file and you'll type the code, then you'll be save the file, then you'll go for the run and compile and run the program. And you'll be close that. Okay, whenever you require that file again, okay, whenever say for example after 2 days I want to see that program, then again you will be open the same code box window. Okay, then you will go to the same file menu and select the open and select the file name and your data will be displayed in the window. Okay, this is the same process that we will do in the files concept. Okay, this files concept is especially required whenever you want to do with the data of the program. Okay, that is, so whenever you are executing the program, you will be give the data to the program. But if you don't, but after the execution is closed, then your data will not be there in the memory. సో ఎందుకంటే మన వేరియబుల్స్ అన్ని టెంపరీ వేరియబుల్స్ కాబట్టి సో మీరు ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసినప్పుడు మీరు స్టోర్ చేసిన డేటా ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ వరకే ఉంటుంది. వన్స్ ఆఫ్టర్ వెన్ ఎవర్ యూ క్లోజ్ ద ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ ఇట్ ఆటోమేటికలీ డిలీట్స్ ద డేటా ఫ్రమ్ ద వేరియబుల్స్. ఓకే, బట్ ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు స్టోర్ ద డేటా ఇన్ ఏ పర్మనెంట్ మెమరీ, that is whenever you are creating a business related applications, like if you are creating a software for the school or a college or any other organizations, you need to store that data in a particular places. Then we require these all files. Say if you have created application for the school and whenever they run your program, okay, then you will be asked like enter the student number, enter the student name, enter the student class. Okay, they will enter all that data. That is to be stored in a permanent memory. Okay, then we will store that data into the file. Okay, after 2 days, whenever they enter into the same program and they are asking for any particular student data, then we need to show that data. That is, read the data and show it. Okay, so for that we require these files. Okay. The general operations that we can perform are open, read, write, and close. Okay. Once your process is over, we'll close the file. Once you want to start the working with the files, we'll open. Whenever you want to use the existing data of the file, then you can read. Whenever you want to put new data into the file, we'll go for the write. Okay, generally we have two types of the files. One is the text file and another one is the binary file. There is a difference is text file is it stores the data in terms of a bytes, okay, as a characters. Okay, if you are showing like this is a line, okay, this is a line. Each letter is stored as a character and it occupies the sizes also as per the number of characters. But binary is it can store the characters and also it can store the non-character information also. Okay, it stores the information in terms of a binary bits. It stores the information in terms of a bits. So whatever the data you are giving to the binary file, it converted into the bits and those bits are stored into the file. But in the text, it stores the characters as it is into the file. So whenever you want to use your file for the other types of information, then we can go for the binary. Otherwise, you can go for the text. There is only the difference is if you are giving a file opening mode as a W, that is a text file. If you are opening a file with a WP, then the file is opened as a binary. There is only a small difference. Okay. Next. So generally for console-oriented input and output, we'll use the scanf for the input, printf for the output. Scanf is you are reading from the keyboard and you are storing into the variable. Printf is you are reading from the variable, you are printing onto the output screen. As the same way, in the files, it will also use the similar type of reading and writing. Okay. Defining and opening a file. Okay, for defining and opening the file, we require a data structure. Is the file data structure? It's a data structure which is a built-in data structure which can store the file name, file size, file starting address, ending address. Okay, that link to that particular address. Okay, those all will be stored within the file structure. Okay, using this file structure, we can create a pointer variable, some p, and this pointer variable will point to the location. Say that within the memory our file is, our data is here. Some my file name is my data. Okay, whenever you create a pointer variable and specify the file name, okay, then it points to the first location of that data. First location of that data. So using this pointer variable, we can read the characters or put the characters into. Because here it is a memory location. It doesn't has any variable. It is a memory. Okay, memory has an address. So that to store that address and to point to that address, we are creating a pointer variable. File name is a reference to the required data. Whenever you want to access any information in the memory, we require the file name. Okay. So the general syntax is like this. First, we will create a pointer variable for the file. Then pointer variable p equals to the function used to open the file is fopen. For this, it has two parameters. One is the name of the file, and another one is the mode of the file. File name is, we can, if you are creating a new file, you can give your new name to the file. If it is an existing file, it will be already existing name. Mode is based on the read and purpose of the opening, you can specify the mode. Okay, if it is a read, you can give R. If it is a write, that is if you want to store new data. If you want to append the data, that is for the existing data, you want to add some more data, then you can go for the A, append. Additional modes, we have the combination modes. R plus is read and write. The file is first opened for the read, then we can do the writing also. So this is generally called as update mode. Okay, the file is opened for the read and you can update the information in that. W plus is first file is opened in the write mode, then you can do the reading also. So this is just file is opened as a new file and you can store the data, and meanwhile you can read the data from the file. This is append and read. You can add the data at the end of the file using the append. At the same time, you can read the data from the file also. Okay, append and read. So the data is only appended at the end of the file, but not in the middle of the file. But using the R plus mode, you can add the data in the middle of the file also. Okay, middle lo kuda add cheyochu. A plus to only ending lone add cheyochu data. And closing of the file using the F. Okay, you need to remember these all. You need to write these functions whenever it is asked, like 5 functions. One is the fclose and one is the fopen function. These two, especially for open and close the file. The other functions for the input output operations. These functions are to read the one character and to write the one character. Fprintf, fscanf is to read the one variable. That is, you can write the variables and you can read the variables. Okay, that is here you can do with the multiple data types. Okay, and getW, putW is to read the one word of information, or we can call it as one variable. Okay, this is also for the one variable, but only for the integers. Okay, fprintf, fscanf for any type of variables. Okay, you can use for any data type of variables. Okay, so you can write these all functions for the output operations of the files. GetC and putC. The syntax is putC has two parameters. One is the character and file pointer. This character is stored into this file. GetC is you have the one parameter pointer. Okay, it gets a one character from this pointer and stores into the variable C. So it's not putC, F putC and F getC. Okay. Next. Okay, this is a simple program using the putC and getC. First, you will be get the characters from the keyboard using the getChar. You can read the one by one character from the keyboard, and this character you can store into the file. Okay, and as the same way, whenever you want to read the data, you can open the file in the read mode, then get the one by one character from the file to the C variable. Then you can display that using the printf. Until end of the file, you can read the one by one character from the file, and you can display that using the normal printf. In fscanf, fprintf, this is similar to the normal scanf and printf, but additionally we have the file pointer. This is only the difference. Fprintf will give the formats and variables. First is the file pointer. Fscanf is will give the file pointer first, then formats, then variables with the ampersands. Okay, fscanf reads the data from the file to the variables. It reads the data from file to the variables. Fprintf is it stores the data from the variables to the file. Variables to the file. And getW, putW. Whenever you want to read the one integer or whenever you want to store the one integer, you can use the getW. Fscanf and fprintf examples. Okay, first you can open the file in the write mode. Okay, and then it's a storing with. Sorry, it's the example of getW and putW. PutW is to store the integer value into the file. Okay, and after that you can open the file for the reading mode, and you can get the one by one integer from the file, and you can find the sum and display the values and sum. Okay, this is using the fprintf and fscanf. Fprintf to store the one by one values into the file, and again fscanf is to read the one by one data from the file. So ferror and error is error handling required, I think. Random access files, there is a function called fseek function. This is to move the file pointer from one place to another place. Okay, say for example, if your file is storing with the multiple data, the multiple characters, okay, if you want to directly go to the particular place and you want to read the data from this place, okay, then you can use the fseek function. Fseek the file pointer and the number of bytes you want to move, that is the byte, what byte you want to the number of a byte. And here the last one is the position of the file. 0 is for the beginning and 1 is for the current position. 2 is for end of the file. If you are giving a 0, it moves from beginning of the file to the m number of a bytes. 1 is from the current position, it moves one m number of a bytes. 2 is it moves a file from the ending of the file to the m number of bytes. Okay, m is the number of bytes. Okay, from where you want to move that file pointer is related to the 0, 1. The command line arguments, first unit by covering. So this is related to the files. Okay, I think it's too fast. If it is possible, before the external exams, we will once again repeat it.